Welcome to your High Vibe Business. I'm Laura DeFranco.
And I'm Donnie Bovine.
And we are here to help you create your badass high vibe business.
What does it mean to have a high vibe business? It's that business you're excited about. It lights you up and it helps you unleash that inner badass and really go for it.
You are a lover and a warrior, and you're here to change the world with your business. We will give you the strategy and resources you need to take this all to the next level.
You shouldn't do this alone. Start hanging out with other badass entrepreneurs and watch how fast your business grows.
You guys, Donnie Bovine runs a successful coaching and speaking business, and he's spent over 2 decades mastering sales.
And Laura DeFranco is an expert healer, 2 times business owner, 6-time published author, and spoken word poet.
Together, we're here to help you create your high vibe business. Hey, you guys, last couple episodes we've been talking about networking, and today we want to get to the follow-ups. Follow-ups are really important, you guys.
What we like to do always before we really dive into these things, or we're getting better at it, I should say, is reading one of the testimonials we got out there on Apple Podcast. And this one comes from CJD528. And it says, a great podcast on business growth and management. These guys manage to make it interesting and informative. How cool is that?
That is cool. Thank you.
So thank you for that, CJD528.
Whoever you are.
Whoever you are. So, all right. So let's talk follow-ups. I go back to my sales training days, and I would love to go to one of my clients' offices and have all their sales guys out, and they were especially a heavy company that did a lot of networking. And I'd go look at these sales guys' desk, man, and they'd have this stack of business cards or the box of business cards. And I'm like, what are those? And they're like, oh, these are my follow-up cards. And I'm like, cool. What are you doing with those? And they're like, we're following up. I'm like, when did we get those? And they're like, oh, I've collected these over the years. I'm like, oh
my God, I thought of you the other day because I totally did this. What is our problem that we need to do that? But okay, listen, I went into the room with the energy and goal of my 2, right? We've talked about this, you guys.
Yep.
Just grab 2 and make them a little bit more meaningful in terms of the connection and the relationship, right? I loved that. It's so been working for me. And I went into the room at this event that I was in a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And I got home, I swear to God, the 20 business cards like fell out of my purse the morning that I got back. And I'm like, shit, what are these? Like, I have no idea what this is and how that happened. It still happened. But here's the one thing I did. I know. The one thing that I did, which I'm patting myself on the back about, is I remembered to write on 2. I know. And I said, this is the one that was interested in the podcast. This is the one that has the book that wants to talk about blah, blah, right? And so I actually did the 2 connections, but then I ended up gathering all these other cards too. So whatever.
Well, there's nothing wrong with gathering the other cards, right? We all do it. What people may find interesting is I don't have a business card. I actually refuse.
What is wrong with you? What are you talking about? Oh my God, that's such a good tactic. I think that's it, man. I'm done. I'm not going to order anymore.
Well, because here's why. Because all business cards do is end up in somebody's trash can.
Yeah.
Right? Or they end up in the box of crap, right? That you never follow up with. I mean, I remember as a young sales guy, you'd order the box of business cards for yourself. I would take all of mine out so I could put all the ones from networking into it because I'd have so many. All right, look, business cards have no value. And I get into huge fight discussions with advertising guys all the time, or print guys, because they're like, you got to have a business card. I'm like, what law, what universal rule says I've got to have a business card?
Yeah.
Here's what you do. And this is always my move. Somebody will ask me, hey, do you have a business card? And my move is, depending on the conversation, I could respond 1 or 2 ways. I'm like, well, I don't carry them, but if you give me your email address, I'll send you a quick email and I'll give you all my contact information. That's for somebody a lot of times that I'm not heavy on, I need to follow up with. right? I just need their contact information and I want to put them in my email list, for follow-ups and everything. If I really, 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 truly want to, or they're a prospect, or there's somebody I really need to get to know as a connection, my move is, hey, give me your cell phone. I'll text you my information. And the reason I do that is the cell phone is the most, outside of your email, is the most valuable piece of property you can have from anybody. Why? Because that cell phone never leaves them.
Yep.
I mean, we take cell phones into some of the most disgusting places in the world and work on them, right?
Yes.
So
Don't say it. Don't say it.
no, I'm not. Right. But it's the truth. So they're always there. And the hardest thing to ever get is somebody's cell phone. But when they're out networking and you say, I don't have a business card, can I text you all my information? They're 99.9% of the time is going to say, sure, here's my number.
Yeah.
And
they
now
don't just hand you their business card for all that?
No.
Okay.
It's because nobody else does this.
Mm.
Right? Because everybody else is doing this amateur hour of here's my business card, and
Yes.
doing this it's like they're playing poker here, or Go Fish, here, take this.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, both parties walk away and nothing happens. Now, the one argument I've heard for business cards is if you're in high profile business development, you're talking multi-million-dollar deals and such, there is a value of making sure that CEO or somebody has your business card contact information, right? There is some value at that. But for most of us, we're not doing multi-million-dollar deals, right? We're not doing these high ticket things. I mean, we should have an high ticket offer in whatever you're doing, but your goal is to get to that intimate one-on-one conversation with somebody. That business card is not an intimate one-on-one.
That's for sure.
You're just trying to make that connection. So I do have a couple of tricks though that will help you with your business card conundrum.
Good. What are they?
So the back pockets is always my favorite one.
Uh-huh.
So if I had to learn to switch it up because once I started teaching this, people started watching me network. So for the longest time, if you went in my back left pocket, you were crap. I didn't want to follow up with you. No.
Yeah, you can't give away the secret. No. And then, yeah.
Right. Right. So then if you were in my right pocket, you were my follow-ups. And it got to the point, of course, where, I would come home and I'd lay the cards out. And my wife knew not to touch those stacks. Especially if I'd had a few cocktails, I'd still wake up the next morning, after Ubering home or whatever else, I could, know exactly what those cards are. So, but yeah, people would start watching me after I taught that, and they're like, "Oh, left pocket, that dude sucks." I'm like, "Crap, can't do that."
I like the tactic, though. I like that. It's good to remember.
Right. Another one is you can dog ear them. So,
okay, that's a good one.
Another one you just put in before you put them in your pocket, your purse, or whatever. Dog ear the ones you want to follow up with that are hot, make sense to connect with. A buddy of mine says just throw them in the trash if you don't want them.
Yeah,
you're gonna get caught doing that. Don't do that stuff, right? But the notes on there are great. The more detailed the notes,
that helped me a lot. Just knowing what the conversation I had was and why I would be wanting to follow up and what about, know. So yeah, the notes was good for me. And I don't know about, I've had a business card for a long time, but the unique thing I did with my business cards is I created the front of it, not with my logo, not with anything about my business, but with a really awesome quote. And I use Moo. I don't know if you guys know about Moo.com. They make all these crazy
you
size.
Just mooed twice.
Yes, Moo. But my business card is square, and I put a quote on the front of it for all of you YouTube people right now who can actually see this.
What's the quote? So
the quote is the best ever. Anyone can be cool, but awesome takes practice.
I like it.
And so people look at this.
I would change that to badass takes practice.
I know. All right. I think I might have to do that. But badass, yes. but they don't even know it's a business card because of that. So they're like, ooh, and they can put this on their refrigerator or whatever. So that's my little business card thing.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that. I like that. One of the things that I found over the years is there is one freaking ballsy, just badass maneuver you can do right then and there to never screw up the follow-up. And that move is simple. Is, hey, I'd love to talk to you more about your services, blah, 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 blah. Cool. Break out your phone. Let's set a time right now.
Oh, the scheduling.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
for sure.
Because,
oh my gosh, you know me. You know I'm old school, like huge ass calendar.
Guys,
book.
this is so funny. She literally has the old school calendars. This is killing me, Smalls.
Oh, I know.
Welcome to
2020. Donnie, 2020. I'm going to do it. I promise.
You know what I want? I want a picture of you carrying around one of those big ass desk calendars to the next networking event, flipping the page, just going, hold on, let me see where I can fit you in.
I'm going to bring that to your event in April, and I'm going to I'm doing it. I'm totally
doing it. You bring that thing to the event, and I'm lighting it on fire, just so you know.
Hey, whatever works, but yes, I got you. I'm
going for anybody
who's
not stuck in the Stone Age, literally break out your phone and say, hey, open your calendar, whatever calendar app, and let's go ahead and set an appointment.
Honestly, that's badass. It's unique. People don't do it. They wait. Why do they wait? So if you're the person who's going to be going for it right then, you're the person who's going to get that follow-up meeting. Mm-hmm. And it really, I always love those maneuvers. Let's do it right now. Let's take some action right now. Follow-ups is about action taking. We're going to do a whole episode on action taking, you guys. I can't wait for that episode. Love it. Love that badass maneuver.
I have my own theory, but why do you think people suck so bad at follow-ups?
That's a really good question. I think that I could probably list all the excuses they want to use. They get busy, they forget this, that. I don't know. It's insane.
Right?
Follow-ups are the magic.
They are. But here's the thing. I think two things. One, I think people are scared of actually winning and finding success.
I agree. Yeah.
And two, people are scared of work.
Oh, I was going to say, what do you think about scared of rejection?
I don't know. And that's a good play. I was going to say, I don't know that's it, but I think there is something there, but I know for sure, rejection's going to play huge into it. And you can't run a business and be worried about rejection.
Right.
It's really that simple, because if you're worried about what somebody thinks about you, you're going to have a long go at it in business.
Yeah, I agree.
Because this is a land of uncomfortableness.
Yes.
It's kind of like the misfit toys, from Rudolph. That's what you are as a business owner and entrepreneur. So,
well, scared of success, so the hard work, I totally get that too. That is the work, right? So the business development work that we need to be in is the follow-up.
Well, I had a gal tell me the other day, and it blew my mind. She's like, I'm so scared that if every prospect in my pipeline hit, I couldn't handle it.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, okay.
That would be a good problem to have.
Well, as we started talking through it, unfortunately for her, as we talked about each one of her prospects, none of them were even close to closing for one. Right? But she stopped prospecting for more because she was worried about all this hitting. And I had to tell her, that's employee mindset.
Yeah.
Worried about that, because in truth of the matter, if they all hit and you're priced appropriately, cool, hire staff to help you manage and take on more business.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think a lot of people look at what they perceive as action, and I know we're going to talk about that in a moment, but what they perceive as action, and they pre-award themselves for going to the event, saying hi to somebody, right? That's the win, when the win is getting to the appointment.
Yes,
right?
Definitely.
So it's interesting. So you just went to this pretty cool event, came back with several contacts. What changed?
What changed in terms of what?
Why this was so much more successful than maybe events in past for you?
Oh, I mean, honestly, the idea that I wanted to walk away with two good connections. So I'll tell you guys a great story about one of them. I knew the woman from past meetings, so we already had a relationship. So that's a little bit of a cheat, right? Like we knew each other, but we hadn't really gotten into a conversation. And she ended up coming up to me, and there was no business card exchange. We kind of already knew each other, knew our Facebook pages, blah, blah. And she had heard me do a poem on stage, and she comes up to me and she sat to my right at this lunch table. I was speaking to the guy on my left who wouldn't really stop talking. And so she was being—
Go back and listen to the other networking episodes. We talk about how to deal with those guys.
Yes, we do. So she was being very patient on my right-hand side, and I could feel she had a question for me.
You got those eyeballs kind of burning.
Yes, yeah. Like, oh my God, okay. So finally that conversation came to a close, and she looked at me and she's like, I want you to write a poem for my program. I want you to write the signature program poem for my program book. And I'm like, yes, right? So when I went in with the energy and attitude that I was going to just connect with two people, funny enough, it ended up being more than two.
Of course.
So it was like, yeah, like the win just kind of multiplied because I had no stress about getting 10 business cards or 20 business cards or whatever it was. So that changed big time.
Yeah, it's once you understand the tactics, business development gets a lot easier.
Yeah, and fun.
Yes, completely. So then you wrote on all the cards,
and so I wrote on a couple of cards, yeah, just a couple, like a few where I knew that I wanted to email them back with information that we talked about.
Right.
Right. So what happened as a result of that was first the email exchange, and that was even more than I had done in the past. Because typically it was the same thing as you said. I had the 20 cards. I didn't really follow up with anybody because I couldn't remember what it was from the business card. There were no good conversations, right? So This time the conversation led the follow-up. The conversations were deeper. I was interested in what I could do for the other person. And I would definitely wanted to follow up because that's an integrity thing too.
Yes.
Like you say to somebody, hey, you would be great for my podcast. And then you don't say anything after that. I mean, come on, you can't like fluff people up like that. So I had a couple of cards where I actually really wanted to interview them. The email went out and said, hey, you interested in this? So anyway, you get the point
awesome.
of that.
Yeah. It's what I know is going to networking, going to events like that. It's an emotionally charged experience, right?
Totally.
So you're in the moment and everybody there has an agenda, right?
Yep.
Everybody's trying to accomplish something. And it's not always to sell something, even though 90% of the time that's what somebody's there to do is to sell the person they're talking to. But if you've listened to anything we've talked about, that's not the game we're in. We're in the game of getting to know people so we can collaborate and sell to the people they know, right?
Yep.
Because that's a stronger place to be. But when you're in those emotional engaged environments, it's really easy to have phenomenal conversations that as soon as the emotions are gone, the conversation's gone.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why you got to have those notes, those things, those clues to actually be able to remember what you were talking about in the follow-up.
Yes.
Because there's nothing worse, and we've all been there. We've gone to an event. We get back from the event and somebody goes, hey, it was so awesome talking to you at the event. And you're like, who the hell is this?
I think I asked a question in your group on Facebook the other day about, how the heck do you keep track of everybody? So, spreadsheet, whatever. But if you don't do that fast enough after an event, you'll lose it. There's too many people to remember, right? So I'm getting with it with my spreadsheets and my digital calendars and all of that. Oh my God. It makes follow-up easier, right? So whatever you can do to make your follow-ups more fun, exciting, easier, all that good stuff.
Yeah. And just remember, I mean, everybody else is in this whole, spot of they're trying to do the same thing. They're dealing with their own personal whatever head trash around follow-ups and everything else. So sometimes that follow-up maneuver is you rescuing them because they really wanted to talk to you. They really wanted to have a better conversation, a more intimate, deeper conversation with you. And when you actually do the follow-up maneuver, you make them okay because they didn't have the courage to do it themselves.
I love that. That's so true. Yes. And that's a great mindset to have when you're in the follow-up, because then it's not about you. It can be about that person and helping them, which is such a great motivator for, all of
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as you guys are going about it, start changing your mindset to how can I make business development in general fun? How can I start enjoying it versus going against the grain? How can I turn follow-ups into a tactical strategy for the business? And how can I create a process where I actually do the proper follow-ups? As you're doing it, because at the end of the day, guys, business development, sales is going to be the thing that ultimately grows your business to as big as you want it to grow. And you might as well get used to that's the part of the business you've got to do. There's no sending it off to anybody. There's no outsourcing it. It's on you. Let's get it done.
Well, I know if I take one thing from today, I think I'm going to just go cold turkey into having that calendar in my phone, because I'm an action taker. So I absolutely love the idea of just scheduling the meeting right there in the moment. And next meeting, I promise you, I'm going to be doing it.
So if you guys hear like explosions and cell phones being chunked across the room, that's Laura learning how to do a calendar on her phone. I mean, what the hell?
It'll be good. It's going to be a game changer.
So guys, if you got anything on this episode and had as much fun as we did, would you do us a favor and please share this? Tell a friend about the show. It would mean everything to us. And leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Castbox, anywhere that you guys are currently listening. Give us an honest review on there. That means a lot to us.
Yes, thank you so much for those, you guys. It really helps spread the word and helps us get to the next person who needs the message, right? If you want to take everything to the next level, please come visit yourhighvibebiz.com, where we've got a free download for you and information about all the programs we've got going on.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
See ya.